Hey guys, welcome back to the Super Mario Brothers Let's Play here on this channel. This time around we are going to be finishing the rest of the game, going through worlds 6 through 8 and completing all those up. Now, this is where I actually tend to dip in terms of not only skill level, but also my average playtime, I'd say, for Mario Brothers 1. Mario Brothers 1 doesn't really retain my attention all too long, all things considered. No, instead I usually go and play something else at this point, like, pretty frequently. Like, there's always that little lingering feeling like, hey, I want to play Mario Brothers right now, and yeah, I get to this point, or I use warp points or something like that, and at that point, like at this point, usually it's just like, alright, I've had my fill of Mario Brothers, I've done World 1-1 and 1-2, and I got my quick fix, as it were. But we're starting to come into, like, we're starting to get some of the more tricky obstacles up in here. We're talking things like Lakitus, fuzzy beetles, which I'm pretty sure we're either seeing for the first time or one of the first times. A lot more perilous platforming that we're going to be doing. I'm going ahead and checking for any and all pipes at this point, because honestly at this point I am not really knowing where any of the pipes are, and then we found one. Oh yeah, and they're not just bonus areas, they're actually also little underwater pits. There might be like one or two of these that are in the game. I don't honestly remember because I don't know the bonus areas all too much. But it's pretty simple. Just a nice little shortcut, basically. But luckily, I got a fire flower at the beginning or the end of last level, and I'm gonna try and keep on to that as much as I can, because for as much as my my granny playstyle, I suppose you could call it, as slow as I am on that, I want to get rid of as many enemies in my path and try and be as cautious as I can. That's why I had just jumped right into the jaws of a piranha plant, completely no regard for my life in the slightest. Also, this is probably another one of those areas where you can get the infinite life trick, but I'm really bad at the infinite life trick. Not that it matters too much. I went into it yesterday, or on the last video rather, that there is a in the Lost Levels version of the All-Stars port, there is a save function, and you can save every level. And there's also a save function in the All-Stars port of Super Mario Bros. 1, but unfortunately you can only save once per world instead. Not that you really need the once per level save. This is pretty not that I'd say Mario 1 is the easiest of games, but it's pretty simple, and you, as long as you're watching out, at least in the earlier, especially in the earlier worlds, you shouldn't have too much of an issue in that regard. It gets a little bit trickier once you get to like worlds 7 and 8, because world 8 especially, world 8 is definitely where the game rears its NES head, I should say, where it starts showing, hey, I'm an NES game too. And remember, we had to use difficulty to elongate our games. So yeah. Also, we're finally getting to see some more real platforming segments out of the platforming game. Because a lot of the times before, it was just like basic big stretches of land that we would run through, but nothing too overt when it comes to actual platforming and in terms of obstacles and things like that, where we're finally starting to see all of that was more in the these castles, but we're finally starting to see it. And I hate these right here when there is a fire bar, because the way momentum works there, I always end up gimping myself, or I barely ever make it to the top of the block where you're supposed to go. I barely ever do it. But yeah, just real quick, go slowly through each of these fireballs so I don't, or the fire bars rather, so I don't end up clipping myself on it, and make it through nice and quick. This next few castle levels, I don't know if it's just the levels in general are very short, but these castle levels seem like they are very short as well. And didn't know when that fireball would pop up, so I just decided to, I misjudged it pretty hard. But yeah, let's book it. I don't know how I did that. Don't know how I managed that in the slightest. I got super lucky. Hitboxes decided to work with me for once in my life, and we saw the fruits of it right there. I was very thankful because I felt my heart leap out of my chest like, oh man, I can't believe I got to go through this castle again. But no, we got it basically. We did it first try on that, and it was completely illegitimate in almost every way. But getting into World 7, like I said, this is World 6 was where it started to really show that it could be a rougher game, but World 7 is where we really see the most of it. This is where a lot more of the bullet bill levels come from, and also more of the introduction of Hammer Brothers. Luckily, I'm pretty sure they're mostly limited at this point to those double formations, those 2 rows of blocks, which when you have it like this, it's not the easiest to get through, but it's not the worst ever. You can usually wait for one of your paths to be clear, and usually if it's like this and I don't get the running jump on the top, then I like to go for the bottom, because when you get to the bottom, then it's just, honestly, you can hold it there, you can hold yourself there, wait for there to be an opening, and you can run. You're never in too much of a big hurry. Another spot for the infinite one-up trip. So yeah, just stay patient is the only thing I can really say, and we're going to be seeing more and more of the Hammer Brothers and Bullet Bills as time goes on. Luckily, those are about the most rough when it comes to obstacles, and we've also got the last water level here in the game, yeah, 7-2. This one is also a bit nasty, not too bad, because I don't think the water levels are too hard in this game in general. They're pretty easy, but blooper AI doesn't work with me in the best of times. So gonna take a few pot shots here and there. I'm pretty sure that one was more my fault than anything else, but don't let yourself get trapped in a corner or anything like that. Plan for their I say plan for their, like, I don't even know what to, like, inches? I don't know what to call that, like that little move that they're doing, whatever that is. You gotta plan for that ahead of time, and it's hard because, okay, the part of you wants to, like, okay, think that it's on a set schedule or a set, like, rhythm that they're going, but then sometimes they just stall like that. I'm pretty sure it's when, like, you're below them that they stall, but it's still annoying nonetheless. But yeah, bloopers are never fun. I can deal with cheeps just fine. Bloopers, on the other hand, really aren't fun for me to deal with. Next, 7-3, we got a copy paste of, I think this was 2-3, I'm pretty sure. But this time we've got one more obstacle, and that's these Koopa Troopas that are on the actual bridge itself this time, which makes it actually, you wouldn't think it's just a few enemies placed here and there, but honestly, they can be pretty difficult to deal with, because a lot of the times they're set in ways that if you are running and jumping right, they'll be in, like, right in the specific spot that you'll be jumping towards. So because you can't really stop your momentum, especially with a running jump, then they'll be right in your path. You'll just bounce right off of them and into the nearest pit. But honestly, if you're taking it a bit slow and watching everything, then you should be fine. Usually, like with the 2-3 variant of that, you generally don't want to stop moving, but the way I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this, the way that cheeps work is, like, they are set on kind of a momentum thing as well, and if you're running constantly and then stop, you're a lot more liable to get hit because they're trying to rubber band and catch up to you, versus, like, they'll just, like, be pretty drifty and a lot more up in the air and everything if you're just standing still. So taking it slow is definitely the call, I think, with this. Got our we got our next maze level. This time I don't get so lucky because I don't commit this type of stuff to memory, because I don't play this game that often. But last time, the last maze level, which I forget, was it World 4? Yeah, I think it was World 4. I had gotten lucky and gotten the maze stuff right on the first try, but we didn't get it here, so we get to actually showcase what goes on when you repeat a maze, which can be construed as lucky in some sort of sense, so I could actually show it off. But yeah, just this one is the first one was like top middle bottom or something, and then this one is top middle top, And that's all she wrote for this castle. Don't remember. I think I'd take a pot shot on this. No, okay. He actually just went ahead and waited for his hammers. I got a bit lucky in that. You don't always get that. So the hammer Bowsers can give me the worst bit of trouble, especially in the late game. I mean, that's where they show up in the first place. But in the late game, you really don't get too lucky when it comes to mushrooms. So any and all, like, it becomes harder and harder to take that pot shot. But yeah, this is World 8. This is the toughest of the toughest. The end of it all, and the biggest in terms of enemy the hardest in terms of enemy placement, level design, all that sort, and obstacles that you have to go through. World 8-1 isn't too bad. It's another just sprawling stage and we got a shortcut in the middle. Few coins. I forget how much time I take on this. I actually think I take a little bit of time, too much time on the stage, because the stage is timed. I haven't gotten into it too much, but each stage has a time limit, or not even, like, the game itself has a time limit on each level. And if you reach to the end of it, then you get time out and you lose a life because of it, which has always been stupid to me, because if I want to spend so much time on a stage, then I should be allowed to take so much time on a stage. But if you take everything super slow like I do, then there's nothing really stopping you, because a lot of the difficulty is gone. And a lot of the difficulty of Mario 1 is honestly just you not taking the amount of time that you need to on each given obstacle. So I understand what it's for, but it doesn't make it any better. But the level gives me a star, and I'm like, hey, get going. We don't want to be here all day. But yeah, finally get one of those, hey, you're about to run out of time. So, ooh. Alright, we're good. Anyway, the levels, I'm pretty sure, are actually in World 8. They're starting to lose a bit of their time. So the longer you take on these, and especially, they're really, like, we were down to 37, it's not even seconds, because 100 seconds in Mario 1 equals 1 minute. So what's the equivalent exchange rate on that? What's the rate? 100 to 60? So, ooh. I'm trying to think of what that would be. Like 30 seconds left. That's like, it's not a half. That's like, it's like 15 seconds or 20 seconds or something. Now this stage, this is one of, like, I'd say 8-2 and 8-3 are probably the hardest levels in the game. But luckily with 8-2 at the very least, there is a guaranteed 1-up for you right where I showed you, and it's in a spot where it's very hard to miss, right next to that spring. So yeah, it's pretty hard to miss that, but you've got a lot of bullet bills to deal with in the beginning part of this. You have the Lakitu, you have Monty Moles, not Monty Moles, Buzzy Beetles. That's what they're called. And so you've just got a lot of obstacles to deal with, and especially like this little jump right here can be pretty tricky as well. Not gonna stop me from having a stupid death regardless, though. I've never died in that type of way before, so that was pretty interesting. This is also, I don't remember if this is the last one. I'm pretty sure this is the last big bonus area that I get. Didn't end up showing off any of the sky variants this time around. I know that there was one that I missed, but I don't remember where it was. But I remember that one definitely exists, I swear. Ooh, that was physics fucking with me there. I almost biffed it right to the side of the ledge. But luckily, I managed to recatch myself in the momentum and drag myself back from the brim. Good job. I was trying to see if I could possibly get the 1-up trick there, because, I mean, it's technically possible. It would have been hard, but it's technically possible. Regardless. 8-2 down. 8-3. This is probably the hardest level in the game, for one simple reason, and that's, well, no, actually two. It's one of those big stretches of land, not too much in the way of actual difficult platforming, but we've got a lot of bullet bills, and we also have plenty of Hammer Brothers to go around. This is the hardest part of this, is just making sure that the Hammer Brothers are going to your liking. Either using the running jump and trying to go through these as fast as possible, or use the method that I'm using, which is very slowly draw them out, see where they are, and pull back and wait for them to be in an area that you can just run through like that. That piranha plant is also in the worst spot because you gotta wait for that to go down, or you gotta take the pot shot. These next two Hammer Brothers can be taken care of with that shell, and these two are actual Hammer Brothers that you need to deal with. Luckily, if you have an actual mushroom, then you can just take the pot shot and go through, which I'm gonna end up having to do because I could have made a perfect jump there, but I didn't know that there was another one, so I kind of freaked out inside and like, wait a second. This is wrong. But yeah, it can be pretty simple if you're taking your time pulling them out, waiting for your given opportunity, and using that shell, because I cut out a lot of the I spent a lot of time on this stage, and a lot of that time was just spent trying to go through those Hammer Brothers, the ones on a flat ground. So I didn't realize that you could use a shell there, and that's what makes this hard. But we're on the last level of the game, 8-4, Bowser's Castle. And we got one last maze for the road. It's a bit different of a maze this time around, though. Instead of looking for specific pathways, you're looking for specific pipes that you have to go down. And I didn't realize this for a while because, okay, like I said, I'm definitely turning the game off by this point. So I always fail to remember Bowser's Castle in memory. But if you have Bowser's Castle in memory, which I died a few times in this stage, so I definitely memorized it by that point. Let's see if I think I go through this a few more times. Good job, me not realizing anything like but I went both through pathways. But yeah, once you actually know the route, this is one of the shorter stages in the game, and it's pretty simple, all things considered. You go down. Okay, still trying to figure it out. I'm starting to realize, wait a second, that we can go down the pipes, so that we're gonna be good on the next one. But I've wasted half our time in this stage just waiting for the pipes, or trying to figure out the gimmick of the stage. But yeah, we got that first pipe to go down. There's 3 pipes, I want to say, that you go down. There was that first one, and there's that one, which I know for a fact that I have to go up, but I forgot. There was actually a hidden block there, but I tried to bounce my way up using the enemy, which I'm really confused on how bouncing on enemies actually works in this game. I know that you can get a high jump off of it, but I don't know what needs a high jump. Like, I think it's while the enemy is rising or something, but I swear that's not always it. Oh, wow. That second one is done. That's the first time that there's a mandatory invisible block, which you will need a lot more in Lost Levels. But yeah, last little water section. I was right. We only had the one water level, but we do have last little water section, which kind of fucks with you with the bloopers. There's these ones are in a especially dickish spot, but hey, take your time with it, make your way out, and you'll be all good. Running out of time, but right out of this pipe will be the final boss of the game. I'm not talking about that piranha plant. I'm talking about this Hammer Brother. That's right. Fuck this Hammer Brother. I've never been good with dealing with them, but that's honestly what I feel is the big and final boss. Because if you'll see right here, we just managed to slip right under Bowser, and we're all good and done with the game. This was fun. This was my first opportunity on this channel, in general, for the last 7 years or so, to do post commentary. So it's different, and I think I like it, but I don't know how often I'll commit to actually doing it. We got the second quest that we can do, but that's mostly just a harder first. That's a harder version of where all the Goombas are replaced with Buzzy Beetles. But yeah, that'll cover it for the most part. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. What's next should be I might be going back to Final Fantasy 15. I'm a little bit undecided on what we're going to be doing next, honestly. So, but whatever it is, I hope you guys enjoy it. We might be doing some more of these little NES games, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be going back to the streaming format for that because I am kind of in a difficult spot with it. Not that I can't stream, but it's more the timings that make it hard. But yeah, I'll figure it out, and we're going to be getting back to more standard content here soon. I'm going to be uploading because I've missed the first 2 days actually the first 2 days and the first half of the third day. We're going to be going and blitzing through content and doing double uploads this week. So for everybody that watched, thank you guys so much for watching the Super Mario Brothers Let's Play here on this channel. It's a bit of a, like I said, it was more of a thing that we did to pad out the time between uploads. And then even then I started to miss some. So I kind of failed my job in that regard. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next playthrough. Take care, guys.